Hello, and thank you for watching this regional forecast update for the southern U.S. I'm Andrew Pritchard, Senior Meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. Temperatures are quite warm across much of the middle of the country right now, 50s and 60s from the southern plains along the Gulf Coast, 70s in South Florida, a little bit cooler in the mid-Atlantic across parts of the southeast there, the Carolinas, northern Georgia, northern Alabama. We're talking about some 30s and 40s, so a cooler air mass in place across that region as some cold air comes in from the Atlantic here. Again, an area of high pressure circulation doing something like this. We are beginning to increase Gulf moisture being lifted northward, and that's going to set the table for a little bit of rain here across this region as we head deeper into the weekend. Getting ahead of myself, though, we'll look at the radar picture here early on Friday morning. Relatively quiet across the central United States. Some rain in the Pacific Northwest. We've got some very light showers along that frontal boundary across parts of Nebraska, Iowa, and Wisconsin. Some light showers continuing into New England early this Friday morning as well. Now, the hazards map is about as quiet as I've seen it over the last several weeks. We've got a dense fog advisory across parts of East Texas near the Gulf Coast there. Some thick fog expected to linger through the morning hours. We've got some coastal advisories, high surf advisories across eastern Florida. Again, we've got some high surf there with that area of high pressure off the coast. Now, as we look at the next 7 days of precipitation, we're going to be entering a pattern here that favors storm systems coming out of the west, digging in across the Rockies, and then lifting across the southern and central plains into the Ohio River Valley. So parts of the southern U.S. are going to be caught on the kind of the southern periphery of this kind of pattern that we head into over the next 10 to 15 days. We'll talk about what that means here because there are some differences. We've got the European model on the left, the operational forecast, the ensemble forecast, the GFS on the right. Both are showing us the next 2 weeks of precipitation. And again, the European model kind of including more of the south there. The GFS would have you believe that this corridor is really going to favor the central plains north of the Ohio River Valley. Right now, I kind of side more with the European model. I do think that the south, the Gulf Coast here is really going to be included on the southern periphery of these. Certainly, I think the heaviest precipitation is going to be off to the north across the Ohio River Valley, kind of Oklahoma to Ohio. But each of these systems, it'll drag a little front with it, and so I do worry about thunderstorms along and ahead of each of these frontal boundaries, potentially some severe weather as we head into the very end of November here and the beginning of December, perhaps some Dixie Alley severe weather events. Now, the way that we do this, we trend away from a pattern that we've seen over here on the left, and this is one that favors broad ridging across the midsection of the country. Again, a lot of pleasant weather, mild temperatures, quiet, a lot of sunshine, and then we're pivoting to this pattern that's going to favor some west coast troughing, a series of waves coming in from the Pacific Ocean, again ejecting across the west through the Rockies and into the midsection of the country, setting up a pattern here that's really going to favor heavy rainfall, frequent storm systems across the midsection of the country, and at times frontal boundaries bringing showers and storms down into the southeast. So here's what we've got. I'll show you the first wave that brings the precipitation in. Now we've got this frontal boundary draped across the midsection of the country. I showed you the temperature disparity there. And this is the wave that comes swinging in out of the northwest. This is the last one that really comes out of the northwest for a little bit. The next two in the series come a little bit further south. So this wave comes swinging in, brings a little bit of rainfall to the southern plains into the eastern Corn Belt as we head through the weekend. This next wave, this is the one that really, I think, brings a better rainfall chance to the south. And again, this upper level disturbance taking a little bit more of a southerly track as it comes through the Rockies, ejecting across the Red River, and then swinging in across the southern United States. And again, this would be something we would have to watch for the potential for some severe weather to be associated with. A compact, potent little wave like that sneaking in beneath some ridging. And then we've got another one that comes swinging in here as we get to the back half of next week. We're talking about November 27th, 28th now, on the other side of Thanksgiving. Excuse me. Now, what we need to understand is that we get the butterfly effect with these storm systems, and with an active pattern like this, each system does its thing and kind of alters the upstream environment that downstream Storm 2 is going to be moving into. So we have this first system move through over the weekend. That's going to alter the environment that the second system will be moving into early next week. Storm System 2 is going to do its thing, muddy up the environment that System 3 will be swinging into. That's going to change the impacts there as far as the potential for some severe weather, the potential for the heavy rain. Where does that end up? Where does the frontal boundary swing? So we have to use a skeptical eye as we get into the 7, 8, 9, 10-day time frame here, just because the error is going to be really exaggerated as we get out into that time frame. With such an amplified, wavy pattern as this, this is not exactly how this is going to happen. We're at day 9 now, talking about Saturday, November 28th. We got the jet stream doing something, like this. That is not exactly how it's going to happen. If I showed you the GFS at the same time, it would have a very different solution. So it doesn't do us any good to get into the specifics 10 days out from now. Let's focus on what we understand, what we have high confidence in, and that is the weekend into early next week. We have confidence in a dry Friday for many of us, some scattered showers possible as you head down toward the Gulf Coast. This would be a midday Friday, getting into Friday afternoon. Now, as we get into the overnight tonight, we'll see that rain begin to increase along that boundary across parts of Oklahoma. Good Gulf moisture being drawn northward by the developing area of low pressure across the central and southern plains. It's going to bring an increase in that scattered thunderstorm activity across parts of central Texas up into the Ozarks. This is, again, scattered hit or miss shower and thunderstorm activity. Expect the same thing as you make your way back toward Florida as well. Now, the heavier rain begins to set in as we get into Saturday night. This is, again, mostly north of us as we go through the weekend. This is midnight Saturday and now Sunday morning as the sun comes up. An area of rain here across parts of the Ozarks, northern Arkansas. Again, some very light showers possible across parts of North Texas as well. And then as we get into late Sunday, that first system begins to sneak on out of here. Now, using the European operational model, we'll take a peek at Storm System 2. So let's take it back to Friday. Again, a relatively quiet Friday, unless you're on the Gulf Coast, very close to the coast, or on the east side of Florida here, and that's when we're talking about some isolated thunderstorms today. We'll head into Saturday morning now. Here's that rain setting up across the Ozarks, parts of Oklahoma, northern Arkansas, seeing some of that rain as we head into Saturday night, Sunday morning. The front starts to sink south toward the Red River. Rain expected across parts of the Red River here, and even into North Texas as we get into Sunday afternoon. And then again, here's that system swinging out of here as we get into Sunday night into Monday. So possible on the north end of Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia into the Carolinas. Some very, very light precipitation possible as we go through Sunday night into early Monday. High pressure, that should give us quite a bit of sunshine as we head through our day on Monday, but then the next system ejects here on Tuesday. So once again, off to the west, parts of Oklahoma, North Texas, right along the Red River, chance for some scattered showers, maybe a few rumbles of thunder as we head through Tuesday. This is Tuesday night, now getting into Wednesday. And then this is, again, why I disagree, or where I guess I disagree with the GFS, which would have it drier across the Gulf Coast. If we just kind of look at this picture that we've got here on Wednesday afternoon, you get an area of low pressure here developing across the Ozarks, and then you've got a cold front extending off to the south of that. Likely a nice, warm, unstable air mass coming up from the Gulf Coast, and this is where I think we could get at least scattered thunderstorms and maybe the isolated chance for some severe weather with each of these systems. So I'm not buying the drier bias all the way down to the Gulf Coast. I do think we're going to see rounds of showers and storms probably every 2 to 3 days across the Gulf. This right now that I'm rocking back and forth on would be the day before Thanksgiving. So this would be November 25th here, allegedly is when our second system swings through. And then the European operational model advertising a third system here as we get into November 27th, November 28th, and 29th. So this is the pattern. We're trending more active, at least for now. Gone are the days of unended, mild weather. Of course, that hasn't always been the case across the South. We've had some very heavy rain with some of the tropical disturbances, but by and large, the jet stream pattern has favored quiet weather across the midsection of the U.S., and that is coming to an end. So as we look at the next 7 days, we've got the GFS on the right, the European model on the left, and again, you see both locking onto the same pattern, but both have a little bit of a different handle on that, so we can involve the ensemble picture. Here's the probability of picking up 1 inch or more of precipitation over the next 7 days, and you can see, again, certainly the heaviest corridor of rain is going to be from Oklahoma, maybe northern Arkansas, into Ohio, so favoring more northern areas, but again, I do think that parts of East Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, even parts of Georgia here, I think you're going to kind of toe that line with each of these frontal boundaries. Maybe not with such heavy precipitation, but I do have concerns about how we get some of that precipitation, the potential we could be talking about 1 or 2 severe weather events here as we wrap up November and head into early December. Not talking about any snow across any of the south, not even across the panhandles here. I know we've talked about some very cold air in that region already this season. Not so at this point. We do have warmer temperatures holding on. And as we look at the next 10 days or so, while we will see shots of cooler air, the pattern is going to continue to favor relatively mild conditions across both the central and the southern United States. So here's your highs for the day today. A lot of 70s. We'll keep that going as we head into Saturday. A little cooler across Texas and Oklahoma, the panhandle regions there. Here are your highs on Sunday, Monday, and then Tuesday.